So since we are going to work with AWS, we have to create our account on AWS platform. Now, as I have mentioned you earlier as well, you have to give your card details. For example, your Visa card, MasterCard, MX card, or I don't know, there is one more card as well. So once you will pass those details, then only you will be able to create your account. If you don't have your own card, you can take your friend's card or someone else's card in your family as well. But make sure to use that correctly, because if there will be some cost that you might incur for using some service, you have to pay that. So keeping these things in our mind, we are going to create the account in AWS, and then we are going to see some methods to follow in order to be secured or to be safe while using this cloud platform. Although hacking is not something which will happen with you, but still we have to be careful. And I will teach you some basic methods that you always have to keep in your mind when you work with AWS. So over here, the very first thing that I see is Amazon Web Services, which is my AWS. Now you can create your free tier account over here. Now the terms for the free tier and everything, you can go and read and learn about what are the things that you can use. Probably in Sagemaker as well, it provides you a lot of free features as well. So you can just check that out on your side. For now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Create Account to show you what account creation looks like. So the very first thing that I see over here is sign in. So sign in is for those who has already created their account. Right now, if you have created your account, so you are going to either sign in with your root user or IAM user. So what is the difference between root user and IAM user? If you are using it for the first time, the simple explanation would be root user is like your main user ID and password. So here you will pass on your email which you have registered for creating this cloud platform, as well as you can also give your password, and you can add a two-factor authentication or authenticator app, which I'm using to be just safe when you are working with root user. Whereas IAM user is a user that you are going to create in your AWS. So the difference between root user and IAM user is that when you create a root user, you don't create it. It is automatically created once you create your account. And root user, once you log into your root user, you can basically do anything on this platform. But once you make your own IAM user by setting up the username and password for that, IAM user will not have access to your whole cloud platform, and you can assign the services that IAM user can access. So it's like you are creating a platform where you are creating the sub users who can access. So of course, we are not an organization, we are just an individual. But still, for our safety, what we are going to do is we are going to create the account first, and then we will create a IAM user to make sure that we only use the services which we need. So suppose in future, your credentials are being accessed by a hacker or some person who is going to use it for wrong purpose. So in that case, if he gets your root user ID and password, you are going to lose everything. You just have to delete your account in that case. But once you have your IAM user, if someone gets your IAM user's credential, the simplest thing that you can do is delete that particular user only, and you don't have to worry about your account in general. So I hope you understand the difference. Initially, we are going to get the root user details, but then we can create an IAM user, which will allow us to work with all the services. But at the same time, if some person gets our details of IAM user, we can sign in back to the root user and delete that particular IAM user. Okay. So yeah, that's a very small and a good habit that you should take when you are going to work with the cloud platform. There are going to be a lot of other things that you have to keep in your mind, but this is something which I would love to tell you in the starting. Now you have to create an account. So you are going to click on the button below, and it will open up a very beautiful page over here for you. So root user email address will be the email address that you are going to use. And for the account name, you can give any account name. Then you have to click on verify, and then you have to follow the further steps. it will ask for your card details. So make sure that you give your card details. And I hope once you are able to create your account on AWS, you will get your root user and the password for that. Once you are done with that, you can sign in with the root user details over here. So let me sign in very quickly, and then I will show you how the home page of the AWS platform looks like and what we are going to do in this today's session. So now, once you sign in with your root user that you created while creating your AWS account, you will be redirected to a console home like this. Now over here you can see we have recently visited services. You probably won't see this because you have not visited any services yet. And in the top as well, you can see here it is my account, and just before it there is something as United States, Ohio. Now there are a lot of places over here, and these places are basically the data centers that AWS is currently having. And you are going to be connected to the data center which is nearest to your location. Sometimes it connects you with a data center which is not close to you. So you have to cross check that while you are working with services like Sagemaker, but still most of the time it will auto connect you with the nearest data center. Regardless of that, as I told you, we are going to first create our user from our root user account, so that even if the hacker gets the access to the IAM user account, we can just easily delete that IAM user. Okay. So the way we are going to do that is pretty simple. All you need to do is you need to just jump over here in the search bar, and you need to type in IAM. Once you type in IAM, you can see over here it says that manage access to AWS resource. So we want the user to only access the things which are required, and the organizations uses this a lot. They will not give you the root user details for the cloud platform. They will just give you the IAM user detail, which will be stick to you. The policies will be made in such a way that you will be able to perform your day-to-day task. Suppose you are a machine learning engineer, so for you the policies will be different than a person who is working on maybe a front end project or maybe a back end project. So basically they just segregate the users on basis of their requirements, and then they set their policies. Okay, currently I'm having one user over here, and how to check the user? You just have to click over here and go to the access management. In that you will get the users over here. So we have users, we have user groups, but as we are going to work on a project which is on our own cloud platform for learning, we are not going to look at the user groups and everything. So what is user group? I can give you an idea. Suppose in a company you are going to work, there are going to be several groups, and there will be a MLOps team. There will be a machine learning engineers team. There will be a backend developers team. So they will be having different access to the cloud platform. So for each group, there will be a different group assigned on the cloud platform as well. And in that group, they will be given some policies, or they will be assigned some policies which they can work with. So suppose there is an engineer who is working with in the backend group. What will be his use to work with SageMaker? So he will not get the policy. He will be not assigned the policy of using SageMaker AI, whereas I will be not assigned a policy of using some other services on this cloud platform. So yeah, that's also a benefit of creating a group where we can basically assign the policies for more than one user that we are creating. But to create a user over here, you can see I also have one initial user which I created while I was working with deployment of a Hugging Face model on AWS SageMaker. But as we are going to not do that in this video we are going to create a credit limit predictor for a new user who is coming to our bank, so that we can assign a credit limit to the credit card that we are going to give to that user. And to do so, we have to go to this create user over here, and then we have to assign a name. So we'll assign the name as credit limit SageMaker AI. So this will be the name of our user. You can give any name according to your wish. Now we have this provide user access to Amazon Management Console. Yes, we want to give the access to this Amazon Management Console because I want my user to work with this console over here, which I am working as a root user. Okay, So after clicking on this, there are two things over here. One is specify a user and identity center, which is a good practice for the companies, but as we are individuals, we are not going to worry about this over here, although it is recommended, but we'll just click on I want to create an IAM user, and this is something which we are going to do, and we will auto generate the password over here, or you can assign your custom password as well. You just have to follow the steps over here. And after that, it asks for user must create a new password at next sign in recommended. We don't want to create our new password again, although you can do that. It's a good practice. But for now, I will just unclick the box over here. And I guess everything else is looking good to me. Now, in the next over here, it is telling me to set the permissions for our user. Suppose you are living in a house and you are the owner of the house, or you are living in a hotel and you are owner of the hotel. So you are the root user. Now there are several people in the hotel, or let's take an example of a bank. Suppose you are the owner of the bank, so you have the access of everything, so you are the root user. There is an accountant who has access to a PC only. There is a group of accountants, so we will call that as group over here. But since we have not created any group yet, so we are not going to worry about that. But just to explain you, we have a group of accountant and a new accountant came to do the job. So for him, the permissions would be to just use the PC. And as you know, to use the PC, we have to attach the permissions of the group, which is of accountant. Okay. So we will attach those permissions with the new user. Whereas suppose a user is a senior manager. So for him, he can access the vault as well. He can access the PCs as well. So for him, the permissions will be different. So his group will be different. So we can attach the policies from the groups that we have. We can add the user to the existing group, or we can attach the policies from the group, copy those permissions that we have for the other groups without adding the user to those groups, or we can customly assign the policies directly. So we will do that over here. Okay. So the reason we are going to do that is we don't have any group, the very first thing. Secondly, we are not an organization, we are just individuals. Okay. So there are a lot of policies over here. If I type Sagemaker, you can see for the Sagemaker also, let me just make it like this. For the Sagemaker also, we have a lot of policy over here. So Sagemaker, Canvas full access. So what is Canvas? Canvas is like a place where you can no code. Of course, with no code, you can deploy the models. Okay. So without doing a lot of codes. So you just have to like use it without a lot of code writing. And in the end over here, we have Sagemaker full access. So suppose you are a lead engineer in your company and you are in a ML group. So you might have this Sagemaker full access. And suppose a person is just like creating the model, or maybe a person is just like training the models. So for them, you will give a specific part of the Amazon SageMaker. So for now, we can either click on this, but since we are going to use with multiple services like S3 bucket and everything else, we are not going to click on this Amazon SageMaker full access. Instead of that, we are going to give the administrator access over here to our user. This is not a good practice at all, because by giving this administrator access, user can watch anything. But since we are individuals again, we don't care about what user watches, because in the end, we are going to be that user. So we will not worry about that. So yeah, we will give the administrator access over here instead of setting up policies multiple times as per our requirements. After setting administrator access, user can access almost everything that a root user can access. Now you might ask me a question that if we are assigning this as administrator access, if some hacker gets the credentials of my IAM user, he can easily access all the services on my cloud platform. You are completely right. He can access, but at the same time, you also have the right to delete your IAM user. from your root user. So currently we are in our root user console, so we can delete any user that we create. So yeah, that's a very simple step that you need to do. But if someone gets your root user details, you have to basically just delete your AWS account. Okay. So now, after clicking on administrator access, and don't worry about root user as well, you can set up the multi-factor authentication. You can download any authenticator app like Microsoft Authenticator, where every time you have to give OTP in order to sign in. Okay. OPT, OTP, whatever you call it. I just forgot. So yeah, over here we are going to assign it as administrator access, and I'm going to click on the next over here. And now I feel it's almost done. So I'll create the user over here. So once the user is created, you can see I have this console sign in URL. Now I will show you what this is in a second. This is my username and this is my password. Now, of course, I don't know how many watchers I'm going to get for this video, but still it's not a good practice to show your password and everything. So don't worry, I'm going to delete this user once I complete this video. So yeah, that's the benefit of creating your own user. So as you all know about this user, so I have to delete it, but I will also show you how you can delete any user. And before deleting, you can also download the CSV file over here. So you can see I got this CSV file right over here, which is in my PC. Now in this CSV file, I will show you what this will contain. This will contain the URL, the name, which is my username, and the password which I have. So next time if I try to sign in my AWS cloud, I don't have to sign in with my root user. Instead of that, I can sign in with my IAM user. And if you go to your AWS console over here, if I type AWS, you can see over here, initially, while we try to sign in, of course, I've already signed in, so it will probably not show me anything. It will just show me the home page. I hope it won't. Yeah, it showed me the home page because I've already signed in. Okay. So that's why it just shows like this over here. But you probably, when you try to log out of this particular root user and then you try to sign in, you can sign in with your IAM user as well, which I will just show you. But before that, I will show you how to create your user. Since you can see over here, this is our user which we created. And suppose anyone got the credentials, all you need to do is click over here and delete the particular user by writing the name of the user over here and pressing delete user. That's it. That is all what you need to do. So now again, let's create a new user. And after that, we'll see how to sign in with IAM user. Okay. So over here, this is my CSV file looks like. You can see we have the username over here. We have the password as this random password that we generated using AWS. And in the end, we have this custom URL. So this custom URL is basically our URL, which will directly redirect us to the IAM user login. So what I will do is I will quickly show you how to first log out from our existing root user and then how to sign in using this credentials that we got by creating our first user, or you can call IAM user. So yeah, now what we are going to do is we are going to first log out with our current user and then we are going to sign in with our IAM user. Okay. So let me very quickly go over here and do sign out. As soon as you sign out, you will be redirected to this page over here. And once I click on Sagemaker AI, Amazon console, you can see over here, it says that I am sign in user sign in, and it will ask for account ID. So your account ID is basically the number which you see in the console sign in URL link. Or what you can do is you can just copy paste your console sign in URL link from your CSV file that you created. So I will do the same step over here. I will pass that console ID. You will get a different console ID. And this is basically my account ID. which I can copy and paste over here as well. But since we want to directly use it, once I run this, the account ID will be automatically placed over here. And for the IAM name, I have my username with me. So I will take that name from the CSV file that we downloaded. And similarly for the password, we are going to do the same steps. Now remember one thing, if you have clicked on change password once signed in for the first time, you have to then reassign the password. If not, then you will be just able to click on sign in. Now this time we are signing in IAM user sign in. Okay, this is not root user sign in. So now just click on the sign in. And once you are done with that, this is again the console of AWS, but this time as IAM user. And you will probably not see the cost over here. Okay, or you may be able to see the cost. Regardless of that, this is our IAM user, not our root user. And see, we can't see the cost over here. The access is denied. So from that, you can get an idea that root user is something different, whereas IAM user is something different. Now over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly just show you the services that are being offered by AWS, which we are going to use. AWS is a very great platform. It's like a black hole. Once you enter, you can't exit. Reason is because there are a lot of services that AWS provides. And once you get used to those services, or once your organization gets used to those services, it is like you will be not able to replace or put it to somewhere else. It's just like you will be stuck to AWS. So we'll just type SageMaker over here. And you can see we are getting two options, which is Amazon SageMaker and Amazon SageMaker AI. So as we discussed before as well, Amazon SageMaker is like an umbrella which is containing the Amazon Bedrock and Amazon SageMaker AI and some other services. So what Amazon is trying to do is, Amazon is creating a unified platform, a unified studio, which is known as Amazon SageMaker, in which we can use all these services. But for now, we are going to focus on Amazon SageMaker AI only. So you have to click over here and you can see we can build, train and deploy machine learning models. Whereas in Amazon Bedrock, we can work with the generative AI projects. So I will click on over here on Amazon SageMaker AI. And as soon as I click over here, it will take some time to load, but you will be redirected to the SageMaker canvas. Okay, it is taking a lot of time, more than expected. And you can see over here, the data center is United States, Ohio. Make sure you are connected with the nearest data center. Again, we are gonna create domain over here, but for now, let me just cut this off. We have the domain over here, and what else do we have? We have training, we have interface, which is like endpoints. So I will teach you what this is, but before that, in trainings, we can see the training jobs. And currently we are having this all training jobs over here, which were completed. Okay. So these training jobs were not done with this current user, because this current user is just created right now. But since we gave the administrator access, we can watch all training jobs done on SageMaker. It doesn't matter whether we did it or someone else did it. Okay. So yeah, this was some training jobs that we did before, but for now, coming back to domains over here, we will create a domain. So for under the administrator configuration, we have to click on this create domain over here. And once you do that, there are two options over here. Either you can set up it for a single user, or you can set up it for an organization. When you do it for a single user, what it will do is, it will give all SageMaker access to the user. You can read over here, new IAM role with all SageMaker full access policy. Whereas over here, you can define what access do you need to give. Since we are not an organization, we are just going to quick setup and click it for a single user. And once we are done with that, we are going to click on the setup over here. It's going to be a pretty basic step. Still make sure that you follow it correctly. Once we are here, it will take some time, and then the domain will be created over here. And once you go to the user profile, a user will also be created. But for now, we'll click on this domain over here and wait till the domain is created. Right now, the status is pending. Once it is created, it will show created over here. So let's wait for that time and then we will see how our domain look like. And let me just show you. Yeah, so this is how the screen looks like. Okay, let me set up. So yeah, let's wait and then look at the domain and the user that the domain has created in it. So guys, once your domain is created and it says that in service, your user will be also created. One more thing to note is that maybe you will still see the status as pending because you have to update your current screen. So just reload it and it will be fine. You will be able to see in service and your domain will be active and running. I don't know why my internet is just like, let me just arrange my photo over here so you see me as well. Okay, so I will click on this domain over here, and inside this domain, maybe my internet is just not working properly. Okay, so you can see over here we have this domain. You don't have to click on submit over here. Make sure. Then we will go to this user profiles and you will be initially getting a user. Many of you will get the user, but some people like the special ones who the god is like just against them whenever they try to learn something new. So they might not see this user profile. Although AWS has resolved this issue, but if you are the one, you just have to go to this add user and create the user with keeping everything as it is. So you just have to click on next and then you just have to click on enable ideal shutdown if you want your Jupyter Lab to automatically shut down once you are not using it for a particular amount of time. We'll just keep that as it is. And if you watched my previous video, you know what is ML flow, right? If not, then I would suggest you to watch that video first. And if you want to understand at the very ground level, you can check out the playlist of Vikas Das. He's a great MLOps engineer, though his playlist is in Hindi. But if you are comfortable with that language, you should definitely watch his playlist. Even I learned about this tech from him only. So yeah, a definite recommendation from my side. So yeah, all you need to do is create next and create your user, keeping everything as it is. But right now we are not interested in doing that. So we will go back to the domain that we created and we already have a user. So we will go to this user and you can see the launch over here. So what we are going to do is, whenever you try to work with a machine learning project, we create a notebook, a Jupyter notebook. And over here, we are going to do the same. We are going to create a Jupyter environment, just like we do it on our local computer, but this time on cloud. So if I click on this launch over here, it will show me options of Studio, Canvas, TensorBoard, and Profiler. But I worry about Studio. So I will click on this Studio right over here. And this will open up the Amazon SageMaker Studio for me. It will take some time again, guys. Have some patience. Once it will be done, you will be redirected to this complete new console of SageMaker Studio. Now I will just click on the skip for now to tour because I will give you the tour. So you just have to go to this Jupyter Lab over here and click on this. You also have R Studio if you are a R learner like me. You love statistics. By the way, I'm doing my master's in applied statistics, so I love R. You just have to go to this Jupyter Lab over here, and in this currently we have no application running. So what we will do is we'll create a Jupyter Lab space. So we'll create a space that we will use in order to execute the Python code. So if I click on this create Jupyter Lab space, I can give any name. I don't want to share this with anyone, so I'll keep it as private. And let's give the name to this notebook as SageMaker AI. I don't know what to give. Just keep it as SageMaker AI. I guess that's already. Oh, we can't give underscore. So we'll just give it as AI. Okay. So then we'll create the space. Now again, this will ask you for the instance, but our instance will be MLT3 medium. So we'll click on that and we can change the instance as well if you want. Make sure that this will cost you money. Okay. So this was the point where I have to discuss about the money. Till now, you will be not charged anything, but for using MLT3 medium, it will cost you money. To be precise, how much money? So let's check that. ML.T3 dot medium pricing on AWS SageMaker Jupyter Lab. Let's see what will be the pricing of that, and let's wait for some seconds and then we will be redirected over here and you can see pretty much what I see. Okay, so I'll click on SageMaker AI and then I will click on Jupyter Lab. So in Jupyter Lab, if we try to use this MLT3 medium, just wait for some time. It will load according to your region. We have this MLT3 medium over here. Okay. So what is the pricing for that? The pricing is that it's just $0.5 an hour. And if you don't know what is the conversion of $0.5 in Indian rupees, it would be somewhere around 2 to 3 rupees or 4 rupees, somewhere like that. So yeah, you will get a basic CPU with 2 cores and a 4 gigabytes of memory. And yep, that is it, I guess. And you can check to this as well, to any other as well, if you like. Regardless of that, make sure you check the pricing for some, I would say, systems over here. For some instances, you can see the price is like as high as $5 per hour. So this price is for per hour. You can see price per hour. So make sure you choose the right one. And the best practice would be to choose something that I will tell you to choose. Okay. So since you are watching this video, don't be curious on your side. After watching this video, after completing 1 or 2 projects on your side, then you can basically try other things as well by making sure that you are aware of what instance you are using. Okay. So for some instance, it is going to be less. For some, it is going to be more. When you are using an instance having more power, you will get more compute and it will be faster. Okay. So our initial default would be this, and we'll click on this run space over here. And when we do run space, it will create a Jupyter Lab for us. So what I will do is I will come back to this. You just have to click on this Jupyter Lab over here or over here. So I will come back to this Jupyter Lab and you can see currently the status is starting. So my application is trying to start. Okay. So we will wait for this application to start and then we will use the Jupyter Notebook to make our training job done, and we will make the credit limit predictor fully on cloud. We'll clean the data fully on cloud. So feeling proud. I hope you also feel proud because yeah, it's running now. So now the next step would be to open this. Now make sure that if you stop watching this video at some point, you have to stop this particular application. And the best practice would be to also delete this particular application. And next time when you come back, you can create a new Jupyter Lab. If you don't do so, you will be spending a lot, which I don't want. Okay. So just make sure you stop it and you delete it once you probably are not able to continue this series, or it is not going to be a very long video. Still, if you are not able to continue, make sure you stop this. Otherwise, it will cost you a lot if you don't care about it, if you come after a month or so. So now if I come over here, you can see I'm on my Jupyter Lab, which is like a notebook for you. And wait for some time. The number one thing which I don't like and which I hope you also won't like is the fact that this is light theme, and I hate light theme. So I'll just turn it to the Legends theme, which is the dark theme. Once I do that, I can see that currently there is no kernel running. So kernel is like, I hope you know. So we'll go back to the folders option over here, and this will be our default folder. We will create a new notebook over here, guys. So we'll click on this Python IPY kernel Python 3. So we'll create a new notebook over here. which will be initially named as untitled. I will give a name to this notebook. You can press F2 as well. I will give this name as credit limit analyzer. No, credit limit predictor. AWS or AWS over here. I know. Let's just keep it as it is. Or let's change it. Let's keep it as it is. So before we do anything, you can see over here, we are connected to this Python kernel right over here. So if I click on this again, you can see we are initially connected to Python 3 IPYNB kernel. You can change the kernel according to your requirement. We'll just keep it as it is since we don't want to change it. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to first check whether this Jupyter notebook is actively running or not. I will pass hi and yeah, that's it. Once this is done, it should print hi. And you can see over here as well, it should show a star once we try to run it. You can either run this from here or you can press Control Enter. Okay, so as soon as I press Control Enter, you can see initially I got a star, then I got first. Now this one means this was the first cell run in this notebook. If I run this cell again, it will show a second. Okay, so it prints hi and that's what I want.